Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Listenerland, the podcast that is growing day by day, week by week, hour by hour. We have the usual suspects, as ever. Wayne over there with his pen in his hand, which means... If he didn't know that there was a camera over there, he would have done that anyway.
Wayne's still trying to figure out who shot Phil Mitchell, and is cracking the case as we speak.
No, we give him a challenge. Who shot the sheriff?
And the only clue is it wasn't the deputy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And we've also got Louis, who was the king of... not like the police said the king of pain. He is the king of sarcasm.
And knob twiddling.
Not?
Knob twiddling.
Knob twiddler. Yes, you are the knob twiddler. My good self.
Now then.
Now
Do you wear your pants below your bum?
Now, before we go any further, on numerous occasions, at least 2 occasions, I've tried to give these 2 people a mention, but for some reason, one reason or another, they have not appeared on any of our broadcasts, shall we say.
So 3rd time's a charm.
So 3rd time's a charm, but I doubt it. Something will happen. They obviously are a jinx. And I want to give 2 people a mention, 2 musicians a mention, because I think they deserve it. My first one is Grace Bowers. She's not got actually any music at the moment. She's just turned 17. But if you go on Instagram, she's really up to date with this like modern way of doing things. Puts herself all on social media. She's an exceptionally good guitarist. She's gonna be there for a long time. She's gonna be around for a long time. She's very, very good. She's very talented. She's just turned 17. Grace Bowers is her name. Go on Instagram, go on YouTube. She's got a channel on there. Go and have a look at her. Like, share, 5 stars. Just do that. The other one is Chris Buck. Now, a lot of people might know Chris Buck because he has had a YouTube channel for quite some time now. He plays with a band called Cardinal Black, and they've just got a new album out called January Comes Close, which is excellent. If you're into that sort of soul-y rock stuff, then he's the man for you. He's an excellent guitar player, but he's just so knowledgeable about his guitars. His YouTube channel will bear witness to that. He's very, very good, very knowledgeable about his instrument. But he's such a good player. Even Slash dragged him on stage about 8 years ago and said how good he were. He's a big fan of his. And everybody loves Slash. Who don't like Slash? So Chris Buck, go and have a look at Chris Buck on his YouTube channel and his Instagram, wherever you want to find him, or just listen to his music with Cardinal Black. Thank you very much. I've got that off my chest.
Right, welcome to Listenerland, everyone. And
So I've got a question.
Go on then.
Who is the founder of the Prevention of Cruelty to the Long-Haired Men?
David Bowie.
Absolutely right.
oh yeah, when he was a kid,
Yeah.
a teenage, yeah.
Question number 2.
All right.
Who was the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh, I don't know.
Patti Smith?
Pat Benatar?
No.
No. Why Patti Smith?
Ooh, it's an interesting one, that. Don't tell us.
I won't. I'll leave you hanging
Rock and
until
Roll
next
Hall
episode.
of Fame.
Was it Debbie Harry?
No.
Debbie Harry.
Debbie Harry?
Johnny Mitchell?
No.
Was it Vera Lynn?
Nope.
I don't know.
Oh, it's a good one, that one. It's a good question.
First woman.
I could give you a clue.
Yes, please.
Give us a clue.
And he'll get it straight away. She's my favourite all-time woman singer.
Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Told you. Too easy, that one.
See, now this is where it gets confusing. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
So,
She's not rock and roll.
No, she's not.
It's misleading,
No.
isn't it? It's misleading.
No, she's not. She's
yeah, it's a title rather than
Somebody
anything
should
else.
take it. They should pull it back from her clutched hands in a grave. No.
no.
No, they should it's the title of it that's deceiving. They should just say, music award, something or other.
Yeah.
This is a recognition
For
award.
not dying.
No, it's just a musical recognition award.
I know, but everyone gets it, don't they? If they live long enough and they're active in their career,
everybody
they get
gets it.
They get it.
Yeah.
She's
Well, they don't actually. I mean, Deep Purple they have only just recently been inducted.
I mean, yeah,
Like,
but you
I
say
think
that, but
about
like,
10 years.
what have Deep Purple done?
Oh, I'm sorry.
what?
Apology accepted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, tell me what they've done apart from Smoke in the Water. What have they done?
A lot of albums.
Yeah, but anything good?
Yeah, with
Name me a song apart from Smoke in the Water.
Perfect Stranger.
Name me a song.
Highway Star.
That was all right. I think you'll find there's probably more James Blunt songs that people know.
Oh. I think that's a generational thing. That.
I think it's truth.
No.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Thank you.
No, I'm not saying you're right. I'm just saying
Edited.
leave that one alone. to put that down to the editor. But it's like, how many people have they influenced? It's you look at the latest album by Metallica, 72 Seasons. It sounds just like a load of outtakes of Black Sabbath.
Right.
It's the same principle. A lot of bands have just picked up on that flavour
It must be
and
difficult
run with it.
being so known for a style of music. So Metallica, they brought out an album a few years back where they went for a bit of a, you could say, more of a classic rock sort of feel, and they got criticised by their fans and all sort of stuff. So they are pigeonholed in the thing that really they made. And they can't break out of it. They can't really change from it because that's what people expect from them.
But I don't think they've been a slave to their audience, though, in a sense that they didn't make any videos for you. No, I wouldn't say YouTube then. That thing back in 80s, MTV. They didn't make any videos for MTV. They've always followed their own path. And they even made an album with Lou Reed, which was difficult to listen to. But they did that because they wanted to.
Yeah.
Not because they thought the fans would like it. They did it because they wanted to. They followed their own path, and you've got to admire that, really. Haven't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I just know that they had a bit of an issue with their own fan base because they tried to they created an album which was away from the metal scene.
Yeah. Well, it will always.
Even though they defined it, it's like
Yeah, they
so
split opinions on a lot of stuff they do.
the famous story of is it 1989? Is that the one at the Grammy Awards?
Oh, you got me there.
So I could be wrong, but 1989 Grammy Awards, and it was an award for best new metal band and performance, and everyone expected them to win it. Alice Cooper was presenting the award; he expected them to win it. Like there was nobody else in the running to win it; it was them.
Jumps Gary Glitter. Sorry.
Alice Cooper opened the envelope and he thought at the time that it was a rehearsal envelope. He thought this isn't the right one, and he checked the seal on it. So he looks at the envelope twice and it's a real one. And it was Jethro Tull won the best metal performance of the year.
Jethro Tull.
Jethro Tull.
What year was this?
The Grammy Awards,
No, what year was it?
1989.
All right.
Um,
Even now.
Jethro Tull didn't even turn up to the awards because they didn't even expect to win. And the general consensus is that because the Grammys is by people in the industry, producers, X, Y, and Z, they thought that, well, Jethro Tull have been in the game long enough, let's give them an award because they've never won an award. Let's just give them an award. But Metallica should have won it. And apparently people in the audience were laughing. It was hugely controversial.
Yeah, I can see why.
To the point that Metallica boycotted certain performances with the Grammys later on because also they weren't televised when it came to the metal stuff and X, Y, and Z. But yeah, they lost out to Jethro Tull for metal when Metallica really sort of invented the mainstream metal.
Yeah. Because Jethro Tull was like a rock version of prog.
Yeah, they were progressive rock. They weren't metal.
Yeah.
They were just progressive.
Well, when a bloke stands on one leg and plays a flute, you can't really call him.
Yeah, it's not exactly Enter Sandman, is it?
No, it's not. No. You can feel how they can be aggrieved about that. Well, this goes back, doesn't it, to a lot of things about music, with these awards and things like that, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and things like that. These people are just trying to justify their own need or justify their own worth by being, we've got to give it somebody. Let's just give it Jethro Tull.
Usually, though, they give it to somebody who they've confirmed is going to be there. So a lot of these award ceremonies, they'll make up award ceremonies. They'll make up like winners just so they can get a famous person there, because all they're bothered about is getting somebody who people want to see on their TV screens.
Which is heavily advertised.
Yeah, they don't.
And endorsed by.
They aren't bothered about who actually wins.
No.
All they care about is eyes on the screen.
Yeah.
And if you can get a big star on the screen, if you can get, it was a big star today, if you can get Taylor Swift to accept an award, or Beyonce,
Because it comes along with all that advertising. It's like the halftime show at the Super Bowl, isn't it? It's nothing about the band. It's nothing about the football.
No,
It's all about the advertising that goes on around it.
Yeah, publicity.
Who sponsors? Coca-Cola sponsors it this year, and this year's band is sponsored by. It's all shite.
yeah, it's not true at all.
Smoke and mirrors. That's all it is. It's not that good.
Even like when you go to MTV and it's the MTV Music Choice Awards, let's imagine, right? And they're apparently voted in by the public. I've never seen, now I grew up with MTV, I've never seen a thing where it's like, vote for your favourite artist. I've never seen that.
No.
So where would I find this thing to vote for my favourite artist?
Yeah.
It's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, it is.
It's all about TV ratings. You're basically watching a heavily scripted TV show where the winners are already predetermined.
Yes, that's the point.
It's
You could vote for who you want, but you're not going to get what you want.
It didn't mean anything. Yeah.
I wonder how. Well, they had the last laugh, didn't they? Metallica.
Well, they're still going, so yeah.
They had the last laugh. They just released a new album, the 11th album. Started in what year did they start?
81.
81, and they're now in 1st September 23, and they just released the 11th album. So they didn't really bother them, did it?
But I think to be
done bad, have they?
No.
To be a fan, a real fan of Metallica, you have to acknowledge that they are assholes. I think it's undeniable. So you can't talk about Metallica without discussing the issue with Dave Mustaine.
Yes.
Right,
Why was it an asshole?
Well, so the thing is that they kicked him out of the band because he was a drunk.
No.
Go on.
They kicked him out of the band because his excessive use of drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
And his obsession with violence, because he did a lot of karate and things like that.
But they were all drunk and
Well,
on
they all
drugs.
were, yeah. So it must have taken a great deal.
True, I know what you're saying. This is the general idea, but I've heard from my research that James Hetfield kicked his dog.
Okay.
So he kicked Dave's dog, everything kicked off, and yeah, he got thrown out. So he woke up one day and was like, "You're out of the band."
Yeah.
And then went on to form Megadeth.
Yeah.
And has been bitter ever since.
Oh.
But it's not untrue that he had a serious alcohol and substance abuse.
Yeah, he was a very violent person.
But they all had that, though.
Well, it's that rock and roll thing, isn't it? That heavy.
If they had a problem with violence and drug abuse, and considering probably the amount of drug abuse that they were probably trying at the time, it must have been pretty bad for them to kick him out.
It must have been. And to be fair to Dave Mustaine, he started...
Mustaine.
Mustaine, sorry, not Mustang.
Mustaine.
He was in Metallica when he was 20. he was kicked out and he started another band and it was Megadeth. Like, fair play.
Well, I'm not saying that's not true. Yeah, fair play. What went in between? We're not privy to that. All we know is that he allegedly was a bit too hard to handle, so they decided when they were going over to the East Coast to do some recording, they just had enough for his tantrums. They just kicked him out of the band and just left him wherever he were. And they went on and became whatever they became. Dave Mustaine, yeah, he went on to form Megadeth. He's not had a bad career. He's been embittered by it ever since. It's probably been his driving force behind his musical career, to be fair. Are you defending him or them?
No, I don't think it is as clean cut as it's portrayed to be. From what I've heard, I feel like they're all pretty messed up and things.
I think they got a decent replacement though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Kirk Hammett.
Yeah.
He's not, you know.
Oh yeah. I just think it's. Yeah, you know, history is written by the winners, isn't it?
Oh
So,
yeah.
I think that's something to be mindful of. But
We don't know.
we don't know.
That's the thing. We don't know. We can't come down on either side because we don't know what they were putting up to, what they were putting up with at that stage to kick him out. If it were unjustified, we don't know. If it were justified, they obviously thought it was.
I mean, either way, they're not doing really. None of them have done bad out of it.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's Lars and Hetfield's dream band. That's all they ever wanted to be in that sort of band.
And James Hetfield has had a very traumatic upbringing, where he was basically an orphan. So his dad left when he was 13, and then his mum got ill with cancer. But because his mum was a Christian Scientist,
Yeah.
she denied all
Medicines.
old medicines. And if you acknowledged that, if you said to her, "Oh, you look ill this morning," she'd get annoyed with you because she was like she'd say, "Well, that's you letting the illness in. If you acknowledge the illness, then you're making me ill." And then she eventually died of it. So then James was left on his own, having to live with grandparents and stuff, all because she wouldn't take any medication.
Well, that were her belief. That's what she believed.
Well,
Obviously, to the last day.
I mean,
And James himself, he's responded to that, hasn't he?
and
over the years.
it's affected obviously his music and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's difficult not to, right?
yeah.
It's Hetfield's and Urich's band, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's Hetfield's and Urich's band.
It is, yeah.
They both
Yeah.
formed it in Los Angeles, and then they moved to San Francisco because that's the only way that they could get Cliff Burton to join them.
Yeah, yeah.
They went to
Because
watch.
he was the best bass player they knew.
Yeah, well, they went to watch a band, didn't they? And it was Cliff. I can't remember the name of the band, but it was Cliff Burton on bass, and they said, "Look, we want him." And they approached him after he came off stage with this band, and he says, "Look, we're going to make this band up, blah blah blah." And he says, "Well, the only way I'll join is if you move to San Francisco." So they moved the bass to San Francisco.
Because he was the one, really, that was the musician. The rest of them weren't.
Yeah.
I mean, some would say that Lars is still not the musician. But he's like the Pink Floyd drummer. He's the best one in that band. And that's the
There's
one that Nick Mason always
he
gets
keeps
thrown at him,
knackering
doesn't he?
audio up, doesn't he? On 4 albums, was it 4 albums, 3 albums, 4 albums?
He did what?
Knackered musical, made mistakes with audio.
Oh,
He's the
probably.
guy that's
I
like,
can't remember if it's 3 or 4.
he's known for being the business guy out the band. Like, he organised in the early days a lot of the business deals and stuff like that. He was the money guy. So I think that's where he...
Well, he worked because
That's where he
he
kept creating his
he
work.
was from like upper middle class. The other fellas was like, well, Hetfield's dad was a truck driver, and
He weren't there.
well, he weren't there, absent father, but he came from an upper middle class family from Denmark, and he'd always had been accustomed to having music around him and money. So money if he hadn't got, he went over to. They went over to Los Angeles because he was in Denmark. He was the 10th for his age. He was in the top 10 of tennis players.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, what they decided to do, because his father was a tennis player. His father was in the Danish tennis Davis Cup team, quite successful. His grandfather was a tennis player, so they got a lot of money behind him. They lived quite a bohemian lifestyle. And his father was a jazz player as well. So it often state that he'd come down downstairs in the morning to go to school, and he'd find all these musicians laying about in whatever state they were in. And then he'd just get some breakfast and go to school, and that was commonplace for him. Money was never a problem for him. For the others members of the band, it was. So when he came over to America, and because they wanted to progress Lars's tennising career, they enrolled him in this very famous tennis club in Los Angeles. Well, everything came on to rules then, because he might have been number 10 in Denmark, but he was like number 168th in Los Angeles. He couldn't compete against him. So I thought, well, I'm not having any of this. I want to continue my life as a drummer. And he did. And that's what he then toured around a little bit. He went off came to England, discovered Motorhead. Well, he didn't discover him. He found that he liked Motorhead, and he got on with Lemmy, and decided he were going to be their fan club president in America.
Wow.
They hadn't even released a record in America at that stage. So he had big ideas from me being a young man. He'd only like 17 at this stage. And he taught them into being the fact that I'm going to be your fan club president in America, and I will promote your tracks. Okay, then. Lemmy was just probably laughing at him and thinking, yeah, I'll crack on, young'un, keep going. They hadn't even released a track in America. But he went over there, and that was it from then on. That music was his life from then on. Drumming was his life, really. And he didn't start off in a cheap, nasty set like most drummers do. He got the best drums that money could buy, and he got plenty of money to buy it with. Well, his parents had.
Yeah, so that's the thing, isn't it?
Well, you can't knock him for
there's
that.
double kick basses and stuff.
We'd all like to be in that position, and we don't really want to knock people that are in that position.
Oh no! Oh.
But he were in that position, so Yeah.
Apparently, he's quite keen on the hunting.
No, that's James.
That's
I know.
Hetfield.
That's Lars.
No,
Hetfield shot the bear.
No, I'm not on about that. So I'm pretty sure it's Lars with a giraffe.
a giraffe.
A giraffe, yeah. He likes to go over to Africa and hunt.
Oh, I would mind that's James, ain't it?
No.
Okay.
No, only reason why, because I know the difference. I remember the picture of the man that's standing on top and small, and he was with a giraffe. Yeah, he's a big, and it's not advocates. It's not like things for hunting. He's very pro hunting.
All I know about him is he's quite an avid art collector. Hunting, I've known that Hetfield was a big huntsman.
Yeah. It's Lars as well. Apparently, Lars is a really.
Hetfield dragged him along to one of his hunt fests.
I don't know. Lars is a really big fan of the Arctic Monkeys as well.
Is it?
Yeah, he loves them. He thinks they're phenomenal, and he once introduced them on stage because he's such a big fan of them. And he said, "This is the only time that my kids are going to think I'm cool."
Yeah.
Because he introduced them on stage. He said, "I've been following them for years, and they're a band from Sheffield High Green." And he thinks they're great. And he says, "I'm finally get to announce them on stage." This is when they were doing a tour in America. It's like you wouldn't imagine, Metallica and Arctic Monkeys.
But he's all into English rock music, isn't he?
Yeah,
Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, all the English stuff. It's not you never hear him mention any influences from the American side. It's all about the English side. His father took him to a Deep Purple concert when he was about 10, something like that, and took him backstage and they met all the band.
Wow.
That's what money buys.
That's what money buys.
Well, yeah, Hetfield shot a bear, didn't he?
Went to Russia just to shoot it.
Yeah, went to Russia to shoot a bear.
Wow.
And what they did is I mean, you're always odd when you're behind a gun, aren't you?
Mm.
But what they did is they waited for the bear to come out of hibernation after something like 8 months. So it was very weak, very slumberless, as it was just waking up, and as it come out of its den, he shot
Excuse me.
No, I ain't got time for that.
it. Big hard Hetfield.
Big 10 men.
That's
With his fucking 2-2 gun, shooting a bear that's just woke up, that's been asleep for 8 months. If he wanted to kill a bear, why didn't he put gun down and wrestle it?
Yeah. I'd pay to see that.
I'm not into
an absolute prick.
I'm not down with that.
No.
I mean, I don't like hunting anyway, but like that's just like,
Yeah. Not only does he shoot
Don't make him a big man, that does it?
No, not really. I mean, it's probably lost, I don't know, about
10 men?
4 stone while it's been asleep.
Yeah.
It hadn't eaten for 8 months. It's very weak.
Well, either way, even if it was in its prime of its health, when a guy stood behind a gun pointing at it from 100 yards away,
oh yeah,
no one's going to do it.
They're all hard, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're all hard.
Yeah.
They're all big guys, and
it's not hunting. That it's just
it's killing.
That's
it's
just killing.
It's just murder.
Yeah.
Basically, if he wants to hunt it, then hunt it.
Yeah.
Meet it on its terms. Put fucking gun down.
Get your heart rate up.
And go and say, walk up to a bear, smack it in the mouth, and let's see what happens.
No,
I'm sure Metallica would need a new guitarist.
Yeah.
But another story about him as well. In I'm going to have to read this from my little jotted down notes because it's quite a long one.
How have you prepared notes for something so spontaneous?
Oh, I don't know. I just quickly wrote them down. Just in
you've got a note for everything.
Blink
just in
of
case.
an eye. So in 1992, there was co-headlining with GNR,
Guns N' Roses.
a stadium tour in Montreal, and Hetfield suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns
Oh, pyro went off, didn't it?
to his arms, face, hands, and legs
Oh, it's a bit of a burn there.
due to a confusion with a new setup.
Yeah, he walked into a pyro, didn't he?
Yeah, which led to Hetfield walking into a 12-foot flame during the track Fade to Black.
Yeah.
And the operator of the pyrotechnics was called Yogi Bear.
17 days after the incident, they all returned to the stage. Turn off page. They all
PTO.
I have actually wrote PTO. They all returned to the stage, and in the place of Hetfield, a guy called John Marshall stood in for him for the rest of the tour. Now, John Marshall was actually Hetfield's guitar tech.
Oh.
Okay.
I thought, well, that's good. That
I quite like that.
I like the fact that the guitar tech said, "Yeah."
How did the vocals go on that one?
I can do that? Oh, I don't know. It didn't mention all about that. It just said that the guitar tech had taken Hetfield's place on guitar for the remainder.
He does the old vocal
of the
bit,
tour.
doesn't he?
Yeah.
Him and Lars write all the songs.
Yeah. But I thought that were good that guitar tech stood in and said, "Yeah, I can play that. I know how to do that."
Him and Lars are the major songwriters of the band. There's other little bits and pieces put in by other people, but it's not much. But it's mainly Lars and Hetfield. So Hetfield's doing the singing, Hetfield's doing the guitar playing, but can this
I don't know.
guitar tech sing?
I don't know.
Can James Hetfield sing?
Piratish.
Sorry?
Piratish, as you like to call them.
Dear, you're leading me in there, Wayne. You're leading me in there. Because I have a theory about this. I think everybody can sing like James Hetfield.
I thought you might touch on this one.
Well, it's true though, isn't it?
It is actually it's not until you hear your version of it, and then when you've heard you're like, yeah, it is actually.
So my my theory is, if you want to sing like Metallica, you want to sing like James Hetfield, you've got to start off with Nothing Else Matters, which is a great track.
Great track.
It's a great track. But you've got to imagine, it's not difficult, because if you listen to the music, it is actually a sea shanty. It's a sea shanty. So what you've got to do is you've got to get into the rhythm of the sea shanty and pretend that you're a pirate and sing like a pirate. If you sing like a pirate to a sea shanty, then you actually are Metallica and you're James Hetfield. It goes something like this. Now this, the rhythm of it, it's a very much a sea shanty, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It is.
Might need some fast forwarding.
I'm sorry?
Might need some fast forwarding.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, we might have to pay.
Okay.
Nothing else matters. Horse.
You get it.
Nothing else matters.
All together, seafaring swellers. Arr, ho, arr, diddy, har, diddy, ho.
Hoist the masts.
Is that a bear in view?
Oh, hey, ah.
It's just come out to slumber.
Arr, ha, 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 ya.
Hiya!
You get the point, don't you? And I think if you just
It is actually.
pretend that you're a pirate, singing along,
Waking from a slumber.
waiting for a bear to come out of its slumber,
Then he'll shoot you.
and you have a little of the old ha ha.
He'll shoot you from 2 miles away. So
And
you
you'll
can't-
find
so
that
you can't
nothing else
attack him.
matters.
And you'll find that nothing else matters. And that song, actually, he didn't want to bring out as a song. It was Lars that made him do it, because it was like apparently a very personal song to him. He didn't want to release it as a...
It's a great track. though.
Yeah, he was very sensitive about it, wasn't he? He was like a bit embarrassed about it because it was like quite, you know.
Yeah, because it was the
Soft.
first sort of like ballad.
Yeah. A lot of bands go through that, don't they?
Shall we say sea shanty.
See.
Shanty ballad.
But a lot of bands go through that. They go through this thing where they reluctantly have a ballad, and
Yeah.
it ends up being a massive song.
Well, it's the one that they can't not play. I mean, I've just been looking at some footage this week of them playing. I think they're playing in Sweden or somewhere like that. It's in the round, and there's Hetfield there smoking a cigar, waiting for his time to go on stage, and they're all on stage. And then he goes up and plays. They're still playing it to this day, and this comes from the Black Album, which is 19. Anyway,
called the
lack of
Black
detail
Album?
there.
Is it
Well,
91?
it's not. No,
It's
but
the fans what call it the Black
Yeah.
Album, yeah.
No, it wasn't 91, was it?
I don't know.
90.
Yeah, about that era,
Yeah,
yeah.
91, 92. Black
not
Album,
that, yeah.
wasn't it?
I'm not going to say because I don't know.
1944.
That's the one.
That's it.
Thank
That's
you.
the very chap for me. So, where did the name Metallica come from?
It came from someone else.
It did.
They stole it from someone, didn't they?
Yeah, and it was Ulrich's mate. They got the band members together, but they didn't have a name. So he says, "I know what I'll do. I'll ring my mate Ron Quintantan."
Quintantan.
Quintantan. I
Oh,
think
made
that's
up
how you
name, that.
pronounce
That's a
it.
made up
Quintantan.
name.
So he rung him up,
We've all got a mate called
and he
Quintantan,
says,
haven't
"I'm setting a band up, and apparently this guy has made names up for many other people."
we? And his own name.
Have you got?
Quite acclaimed at making names up.
He says, "Have you got?
Metallica.
Have you got any band names?"
Yeah.
And he gives him,
Shawaddy.
and he gives him 2 names.
Gary
And he
Gleason.
says, "Yeah, at a minute I've got this and this." And he went, "Right, I'll take Metallica. Yeah, I like that.
Ching.
We'll have that." And he went, "Right, okay, we shows." And that's
£4.60. Thank you.
what would be $4.60.
Oh, right, okay.
And yeah, so that's how they became Metallica. His mate came up with the name.
I haven't really given much thought, really. I thought it was a pretty good name for a rock band.
Yeah, but it was his mate that named him.
A metal band. Metallica.
There you go.
Yeah,
Metallica.
Are we keeping you awake?
You are. Sorry. What else we got?
I've got. So the second album,
Yeah.
Ride the Lightning,
Yeah.
Yeah.
has a blue cover on the album.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
However, a mistake in the French press
Oh, it went pink, didn't it? Or was it orange? Something
went
like that.
green.
Green, that was it.
And they released 400 copies of the album with a green colour.
Yeah.
I bet, so they'll be worth a bit.
Hence, they are now collector's items.
Of course.
Because after 400, they realised the mistake and obviously took it off press, changed the colour back to blue. But these green ones, instead of discarding them, they just sent them out.
It's like the Diamond Dogs album with genitalia.
Yeah, that one you mentioned the other week. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, but yeah. A happy accident.
Well,
For
it
the
were.
collectors anyway.
But he's a big art person, isn't it, Ulrich? Because he's been collecting art from being a young man.
Yeah.
And he sold some of his artwork off because apparently we're trying to fund this big house we're building in LA. I don't really buy that bit because it's worth quite a bit anyway. But he bought this, he sold some of his, like 5.6 million just for one painting and 13 for this particular one. And he's got quite a collection. It's all like modern impressionist stuff and modern art, most of it. But it's quite a... If you've got enough money to throw at these things, you're going to be a famous collector, aren't you?
Yeah.
If I tried to do it, I would be like not a famous collector. You know, they have to have money to throw at it.
Mm-hmm.
And he has. And he's thrown money at it. But what he's decided to do is now just sell a lot of it off. Because it's just... A lot of it is in storage. You can't put it up at wall. He's got not enough room, basically, for all art he's got. So he's sold a lot of it off. And it's been rumoured that he's made at least 200 million from the amount of artwork he sold off.
Well, is the richest one at band, isn't he?
He were before he started.
A lot of people...
I think he made $12 million off the first 3 albums.
Yeah.
A lot of people make money. So a lot of rich people make money or use art as a currency. So they'll buy art and they'll then eventually sell art, or they'll store it in a museum or a gallery until the time they want to sell it. And they do this because it's not taxable.
Oh.
Oh, right.
So they buy art. So the art world is as damaged as it is because it encourages millionaires to buy art and inflate the price so they can create more money. And it's not taxable because they can sell it, and they
So if it's not taxable, then how do they get around that?
well, they sell it
As a
but
business?
They sell it as a massive inflation. So it's like a currency. So like, you know, how people buy and sell currency to make more money, but the art is more stable.
Is that why Kurt Hammett is a collector and a seller of horror film memorabilia?
Probably.
Would that have to go down as a business?
So hold on. So you could buy a house for a painting. You could give someone a painting for a house.
Right.
So
Good house.
So you could be like, so it's art becomes currency. Like, I have X, Y, and Z, but I want your house. I'm going to give you my painting plus 100 grand. And you'd be like, yeah, sure. And then you'll have this like painting which is probably worth a lot more. But the way it's not taxable is because you're exchanging goods rather than currency.
Right.
So they collect art so in order to swap art for other things that they want. So they use it like
Money.
Pokemon cards.
Yeah. So they use art as money.
Yeah,
basically.
they use art as money and it's not taxable.
Right. Oh.
And that's how the rich get around it. So that's why art is still
You should
very
know
expensive.
It's clever, really. Isn't
You
it?
should know this.
What, being an artist?
So it's not because art
Being rich.
It's not because the art is so amazing, it's so expensive. It's because it's been inflated by millionaires and billionaires to exchange around for property or for goods.
Do you know that Metallica, just quickly moving off the subject of art, but do you know that Metallica hold a Guinness World Record?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Every continent.
Yeah, they played every continent, in
1994.
And when they did Antarctica,
I don't know.
they got together with Coca-Cola and they got free tickets to the concert in Antarctica.
Who wants to win that?
Antarctica, and they also won a Antarctica cruise for a week, paid for by Metallica,
They got a free coat as well because it'd be bloody cold.
and gun
And gun.
to shoot seals,
Just
and
as they're
penguins,
just as they're waking up,
polar
bears.
bears,
it was going to
Just as
attack
they're
me.
coming out of hibernation.
killer whales.
Bang! And the orca's gone.
Yeah, and the
Free this, Willie.
Kill Them All album.
Oh, well, appropriate.
That was the
As-
first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's got on the cover. It's got a knife or a hand holding a knife coming out of a toilet, and it's called Kill 'Em All, but it was actually going to be called Metal Up Your Arse.
I mean, yeah.
That's subtle, isn't it?
I can see that.
And the record company went, "No, you can't do that. We need to change that." And,
Well, they've always tried to tread their own path.
yeah,
Metal up your arse.
and that's what we're going to be called, and that's why the cover is
Yeah.
a knife coming out of the toilet, which apparently is still printed on the T-shirts. You can, and it'll say "Metal Up Your Ass," and it's the toilet with knife, but it's got the original name of the album on.
Oh, wow.
But they couldn't release it as an album; they had to change the title.
I didn't know that.
That imprint will be licensed, so don't try it.
No, I don't think I want metal up my ass anyway.
Well,
Don't
no,
think.
No, it's not something you're going to dream
There's
of.
only one way to find out.
Yeah,
Live.
wear your
Yeah, for the
trousers-
first time.
Wear your trousers down by the bottom of your bum.
Today's episode is sponsored by Brill Cream.
And well, apart from that, that's all I've got.
This last album, I get it to listen a couple of days ago, 72 Seasons, and like I said earlier, it's so Black Sabbath.
Isn't it something to do with this 70? What
I don't know what it's all about, to be
It's
fair.
something like the 72. Something to do when one of them was a child, I think. The 72 feelings.
Oh, I don't
something
know.
like that he went through.
I don't know. 72 feelings you went through.
Something like that.
I don't know. It's do you know, like
Oh,
Black
72
Sabbath
is 3 days, isn't it?
do you know, like Black Sabbath is very riff orientated.
Yeah, possibly.
It's very riffy because of Iommi. This is that's the same. The track, the title track itself, 72 Seasons. You would not know it went to Black Sabbath track. That it's just very riffy.
I don't know.
Even the melodic way that the vocals go, it just sounds so Aussie. It just sounds so Aussie. It's just too Aussie. It just sounds like some Black Sabbath from Aussie period. It's not Dio or anything like that. It's that riff and that melodic way that Aussie would like see his lyrics. It's the first couple of 3 tracks they're like that. I don't know whether the rest of the album's like that because I thought, well, I'm just getting a little bit fed up now. Because it's a bit old school.
I guess how far can you stretch the metal sound? Like how far can you...
They've done 11 albums out of it. This is the 11th one. And I'm sure the fans... I'm not going to call myself a fan of them because I think a fan would say... They would argue all day.
Yeah, the die and the sword, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I like a few of their stuff. I like bits and pieces of what they do. I'm interested in what they do. I like the members of the band. I like the way they've been sort of independent of what they're expected to do. I don't like it that they go and kill animals, but there you go.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know if it's an American thing or what, but yeah, it's a bit strange.
I like.
No, I'm not keen on that.
You wouldn't catch Donny Osmond doing that.
You
No,
wouldn't.
no.
Well,
I like the tracks. As a band, they're all right. Take them or leave them. But I think they've got some really good tracks out.
They have got
great
some really good tracks.
Some really, really good tracks.
Unless it gets a bit samey,
Yeah.
but there's bits and pieces in there that are absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, they are.
when they get it right, they get it right.
Yeah, they
And
do.
when they don't, well,
They don't.
But the fans will love it.
They go out and shoot bears
And there we go. The bare necessities
of
of
life.
Oh,
It'll
Metallica.
come to you. It'll come to you. Bye.